To the podcast, hablemos de lo nuevo. For the G's, by the G's, que pasa en el terreno. Vienen jugadores y se van, traigan lo nuevo. A huevo. Doesn't matter where you from. Salvador, Mexico, Honduras, Nicaragua. Todo mi latino, come and listen for an hour. TikTok, que traemos lo que quiere. Todo lo que pasa dentro y fuera de las redes. Really? You don't know what it is. Reportamos con la lupa what we see at the digs. En las buenas y en las malas yo diré la verdad. Si cometen un error o tienen habilidad, la calidad del rival cuando viene a jugar. Facts. Yo no me muerdo la lengua. Got love for the crest in the city I came from. Los campeones de campeones y con copas mi race. No empezamos, empurgamos. Soy la voz de LA One. Soy la voz de LA One. Love. Yeah.
Hello, hola, and buenas, and welcome back to another episode of La Cuna Galaxiana, a podcast always made with love for all you LA Galaxy fans, wherever you may be out there in the world. I hope you're having a good one. Welcome back to all you La Cuna Galaxians. Thank you so much for being here with us once again. And if it's your first time, welcome to the show. We love to have you. Thank you so much. Today, we're going to be reacting to the Los Angeles Galaxy's 3-2 position-affirming win at home over the Portland Timbers. Another match the Galaxy grinded out to earn all 3 points and remain unbeaten at home and in first place. Here to help us paint the picture of what the vibes were like at the digs, we have LA Taco editor-in-chief Javier Cabral, a.k.a. El Glutster, or as I call him, Jefe. But before we get to him, let me introduce myself. I'm one of your co-hosts, Rob Hello, and you can find my written work at Extra Time Talk, and you can find me online at El Escudero de LA. And since I'm here, you know the ride or die GN homie is here. The Yerno Guapo, el Gitano Perdido. You know him as Ananda Kirana. Papá, otro 3 puntos. ¿Cómo te sentís?
I'm happy, man, for a couple of reasons. Obviously, we're still top of the West. We got another 3 points. We ended off this stretch run coming into Leagues Cup with a win, right, which is super important. And, hey, guess what came in the mail today, Rob? This little thing right here. Oh, man, I'm super excited. It's really, I mean, I saw it around the stadium, and I was jealous because I felt like I was being left out. It was massive FOMO. But I knew I had it coming in the mail soon. And when I saw it, like, in person on people, I was like, man, that's really, really nice. And then I saw it today. Saw the little details in hand. You got the old school, like even MLS logo on the back. The details are really, really nice on this authentic kit. So, man, I am excited to be the proud owner of it. Not sure if I'm going to put a name on the back yet. We'll see TBD on that. But you know what? I mean, I'm like I said, super, super good vibes all around. Super happy. And yeah, man, another 3 points, which I'm excited to talk about today. And I got to be in the stadium too. Really, really good seats because this wasn't part of my ticket pack, so I had to kind of look for some, and I ended up being like 2 rows in 136, man. Like, I've never been that low, I don't think. And so it was a really, really nice view, and I got to enjoy just watching the players. Like, it was a nice vantage point to watch the game. So my viewpoints may be a little different today because I was kind of watching the flow of the game and watching individual players. So we might talk about that a little bit on the recap. But no, man, 3 points. You were like, I'm happy.
You're like, my eyes are opened. I wasn't in the cheap seats anymore.
I was like, wait, I am as tall as Riqui, or maybe even taller. Like, yeah, kind of like that close.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, we got a lot to get through today. So go ahead and hit that housekeeping, man.
Yeah. Well, first of all, while I do that, guys and gals in the chat, go ahead and give us your one-word match reaction. I haven't given mine yet because I kind of want to, bounce off of Rob, and maybe he might change my mind about it. But there's a lot of words I can express that. But yeah, guys, you can always follow me, block me, or stalk me at Ananda Galaxiana. And of course, you can find us on all your socials at La Cuna Galaxiana. And like Rob said, if this is your first time, welcome to our YouTube channel. Welcome to the chat. If you are done with this episode and you do like what you're listening to, go ahead and give us a shot. Hit that subscribe button, guys, so that you know when the next show is coming up. And I know Rob's hard at work. He's the showrunner of this pod, so he's hard at work during the Leagues Cup, getting some good guests on. Yeah, exactly. He's lining up some really good guests, and so we're gonna ramp that back up real quick. And we've got a really good one today as well. So excited to talk to him. And of course, hit that like button, guys. We've already got a Prime Minister of likes in there. That's Big Crespo. Real G's, hit that like button. So there you go, guys and gals. And those of you on playback, do not forget to hit that like button. Really, if you guys want to support the channel, that's the best way to support the channel at this moment in time. Of course, you can always put someone on, your tios, your tias, your abuelitos, your abuelitas, your vecinos, man, whoever. Put them on if they want to listen to some good Galaxy content.
It's or if they just want to show love.
Yeah, exactly. Or if they just want to, listen to two knuckleheads talk about soccer, that works too. And of course, Roberto, como siempre, antes de olvidarme, buenos días, tardes o noches y bienvenidos a otro capítulo de La Cuna Galaxiana. By the way, speaking of otro capítulo, shout out to the homie Marvin G, who we saw at the stadium yesterday. He was like, man, how many episodes you guys are on? And I believe you said 150 some odd-ish, right?
I said 152.
Man, we're getting up there, Baba. We are getting up there, fast approaching 200, and long may that continue. So, but hey, one word match reactions,
and we haven't gotten canceled yet, man. Look at that.
Hey, let's go. Yep, totally.
Well, I guess we'll get into the shoutouts and announcements. Part of the reason that we do the segment at the top of the show here is because the Galaxy community is such that it's large but very tight knit, and we've had the good fortune to meet a lot of wonderful G's out there in the community. And when you meet a G out there and you take them to heart and you share laughs with them and stuff like that, like they become one of your own. They become one of your family. And so today we want to go ahead and give a shout out to Luis Vela. Condolences to him. He just recently lost his father, so no words are gonna match up to the feeling, and nor could they ever. But just we're with you, G. Animo, may his memory be a blessing, and we're with you, man.
Yeah.
So once a G, always a G. G's up, man. Well, Gabriel Peck has been named to the All-Star team. This one has kind of been like a slow burn in like rumordom, I guess, ever since a couple people that were named to the team went down with injuries or got ruled out. His name had been getting thrown around, and it's been official. It's now he has been named to the All-Star team. Gabriel Peck is now an All-Star in his first year. He was added to the roster by head coach Wilfried Nancy for his stellar play this year. He is now part of the 10-10 club, one of only 5 players to be in the 10-10 club. Christian Arango, Lionel Messi, Lucho Acosta, and Evander, of course, being the others. That's a really, really good company to be in. Even though he's been named to the team, he wasn't in Columbus yet. He will arrive in Columbus tomorrow, and he was told about this. I don't know if you saw this video, Ananda, but it was really, really funny, kind of cute, because he obviously Gabriel Peck doesn't know English yet. He's learning at the moment. So Will Kuntz announced that he was going to be going to the All-Star game, and everybody was clapping, and so Gabriel Peck was just like, yeah, man, like I'm gonna clap too. And I don't think he knew like everyone was clapping for him initially. And then they were
he was like, what? Como?
Yeah. And then like they were like, nah, blood is for you. And so anyway, he got to share in that with his teammates, and I believe Miguel Berry was translating, and ever humble. Gabriel Peck was like, I couldn't have done it without you guys. It's really more of a team thing. And so, yeah, anyway, you'll have a chance to see Gabriel Peck at the All-Star game being played on Wednesday, July 24th at 5 p.m. Like I said, first All-Star team appearance. And we have Riqui right there on the graphic. It'll be his second time. And if you really, really cannot wait to see more of Riqui, then you can catch him at the MLS Skills Challenge on Wednesday, July 23rd at 4:30. He'll be one of MLS stars going up against Liga MX. Riqui and Sasha Klestjen made peace ahead of this because Sasha will be a guest player for this event. And so they came out with a very nice picture of them two hugging. So I guess they have buried the hatchet from their little Twitter war or social media war. But yeah, if you just absolutely cannot wait to get more MLS All-Star action in your life, go ahead and catch the Skills Challenge on Wednesday, July 23rd at 4:30 p.m. Of course, all this is going down at Apple TV, so go ahead and check that out. Another event, another tournament that'll be on Apple TV. We are just 10 days away from the League's Cup. Of course, the Galaxy opened that tournament on Wednesday, July 31st versus the San Jose Earthquakes. And then their second match of the group stage will be against Chivas de Guadalajara on Sunday, August 4th. Ooh, Riqui and Sasha be like you and I. Yes. I think they did. I think they put on some Joseph Paintsil and said, hey, let's talk about this, man.
Yep.
Yeah, no, and it makes sense, man. You know what we forgot, Ananda, in the zeal to go ahead and share this wonderful news about announcements and stuff like that. We didn't do these one words, man.
I know. Well, I was gonna get back to it later. Maybe we'll talk about it when we talk to Luis. I still have all the comments pinned, so I know there was a couple one words in there. You find the right time. We'll get back into it, Baba, for sure.
You know what? I'm gonna give you mine. Satisfying. And it's not just like a one word match reaction. It's a one word like, way to finish up like the segment of games. Satisfying.
Yeah.
Or
I like.
I like.
Or
if you're a Lion King fan, slimy yet satisfying. So.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah, that's a good word actually. I was thinking like. It's weird because maybe not a lot of people left the stadium this way, but I did. And it was more like confident or confidence building in the fact that, I think for me, it's a big deal that we left or went into the Leagues Cup, top of the West. I know LAFC has games in hand, right? But, and we're going to talk about this later in another segment, but in the reaction, but this is giving me even more confidence that we can win games like this. Remember, guys and gals, Rob and I, in our predictions, we were confident, but we were also wary that this Portland team is dangerous, and that played out to be right. Portland is a dangerous team.
They are.
Don't let their 8th place seeding in the West fool you. They're playing like a top 4 or 5 team for sure. So I knew this was going to be a tough game, and the fact that we could pull out a game like that, and really it should have been out of sight, but 3 points is 3 points. We weren't getting these 3 points the last couple of years, Rob. These were points dropped right at the end, like. Remember that stretch where we'd miss stupid penalties to drop points or just all kinds of shenanigans.
The Cheetah Panenka?
Yeah, all kinds of shenanigans would happen. So, this just gives me a little more confidence. I know it's 2 words, but it's confidence building or confidence inspiring. I do like satisfying. But, some people in the chat, and I don't disagree with them to a certain extent. They were, for example, GCam says he was anxious. Rocio says a nail biter. Sure. Crespo, and this is my point, leaders, right? We are at the top. Yeah. I thought it was really important for us to cap that stretch heading into Leagues Cup this way. Gosh, what a distraction Leagues Cup is. Anyways, I don't want to get down to that rabbit hole, but it is what it is. So there you go.
Yeah, no, I agree with the one and only Rocio, nail biter, and I agree with anxious as well. Who said anxious, Ananda?
GCam.
GCam. Yeah, no, I agree. But even though it was anxious and a nail biter, like they took care of business, and at the end, it was what they needed to do. They took care of business. So for me, like I said, satisfying. I mean, they need to win these games. They need to be able to see out these games to be, an elite team. The conversation all year has been, is the Galaxy back? Joe Tino came on and let us know why they weren't back. If Joe says it, I believe it. I'm kind of sticking by that standard. No, they're not elite, but they're on their way, and I like it. So, guys, back to announcements. And if you thought the LA Galaxy was done dropping fire merch, you are absolutely wrong. We did let you know. We did let you know that this collection was like 60 plus pieces, and only about 50 were about to drop on in the original drop where the retrograde kit dropped last week. But now some more pieces of the retrograde collection have dropped, and it is a Niky's Sports exclusive, handcrafted and designed by Move in Silence, one of the original LA Galaxy independent creators. And if you're watching this rather than listening to it, you see Riqui and Mark up on the screen right now rocking this fantastic t-shirt and hoodie. Man, they just need to stop because my wallet is just so sad.
I was just about to say, PSA to all of you fabulous Galaxy creators out there, please stop putting out fire pieces because you are killing my wallet, man. Oh, anyways, no, these are fire for sure though.
Yeah, man, I want it all, and the fact that like I might have to be unhoused to buy it all is troubling. I'm gonna have to learn how to say no to some of it, but man, it's also good. It's also good. I mean, I've seen hats like cropping up around the digs, and I'm just like, oh, where did that come from? And I just like see it from far away, and I'm like, oh, I want to know. But even the fourth, not the fourth, even the 4th of July scarf from the Rose Bowl, like I loved it, and I haven't got my hands on that one yet. But anyway, you guys can get your hands on this exclusive Move in Silence drop at Niky Sports. Shout out to Niky's, shout out to Move in Silence. It's their first collaboration with the Galaxy. This is going to be available online and in all Niky Sports stores. Go ahead and check that out and pick that up. And if you're one of those rich Galaxy fans and you guys want to send over one to Lacuna Studios, we will be eternally grateful. And we've been mentioning Move in Silence a lot. They're going to be part of the stellar lineup, appearing at the next Blue, White, and Gold pop-up that's happening on August 3rd at Absolution Brew from 11 to 5 p.m. Ananda, we just got done saying how there's just too much good stuff. We're going to go broke. And then, the Blue, White, and Gold pop-up is happening, and there's going to be even more fire stuff happening, and just put out. It's really a wonderful time and a sad time to be a Galaxy fan. If you're on the poorer side of life as a Galaxy fan, like myself, and can't buy everything that you want, but you guys can have an opportunity to check out all the fire merch at the Blue, White, and Gold pop-up on August 3rd. Like we said, Moving Silence is going to be there. 1 2 Threads is going to be there. Galaxy Art Fire. All your supporter groups are going to be there. Gudinho Art, shout out. We have, each one of us has a piece by Gudinho Art in our home. So if I didn't mention you, no shade. Just we just have to get through the announcements. So anyway, but check out that next.
Those two right there, guys. You can see them right there. Yep.
Yeah.
So shout out Gudinho, man. Fire.
Yeah. Just fantastic art. Thank you for that one, man. Well, the Galaxy now officially has a technical director. About a month and a half ago, Ananda, we brought you guys in the news that the Galaxy was looking. This was the rumor that he was going to get hired. It took up until now for them to officially announce. And so now it is official. The LA Galaxy have hired technical director Mikkel Dencher. He comes from Copenhagen. He'll be tasked, and this is like the what I really wanted to know. Like, okay, cool, he's here now. What is he going to do, right? So he's been tasked with developing youth and reserve players while partnering with Will Kuntz and newly promoted assistant general manager Michael Stevens in global scouting, identification, recruitment, and acquisition for the first team. So it looks like he'll have his hands on all of it, man, on all the players. I mean, in the youth, he's going to be developing youth and reserve players, which, hopefully will be coming into the first team. And then on the first team side, he's going to be identifying the players that are going to be, or at least helping to identify the players that are going to be, in the first team. So
Yeah.
who knows? He may be unearthing the next Gabriel Peck, you know?
Yeah. You know what that makes me think too, Rob, is conversation that we had with Judge Sophie last year about, what is this team's identity, right? What is the LA Galaxy's identity? Because we didn't have one last year. An appointment like this, funnily enough, I think it just strengthens that goal a little bit more. Someone that has oversight into the youth development and instilling those principles, those identity things into the young players, as well as looking for those skill sets and those things that create our identity, right? When scouting or recruiting players, right? Even Will Kuntz has said before in the past, he's not looking necessarily for the best technical player and whatnot, although there is a minimum technical level threshold, I'm sure, that they assess when they look at and they scout players, but it's also their character, right? We're signing really good locker room guys, signing really character. And again, it goes back to forming the identity of this team. And so this is a good hire, man, for not only his technical ability in terms of the ability to recruit and identify, but again, strengthening the identity and what we want to create for the future in this next phase for the Galaxy. So no, really good signing. And hopefully, we see some of his good work come to light pretty soon here.
Well, two things before we tell you about some more promotions. Our friend Mike Gray in the chat did call us out. He says, don't forget about the Live Breathe Football Letterman jacket. Yeah, that one is fire too. I wish we had a photo for that one, a graphic for that one, but that one is absolutely flame. Ananda, have you seen this one yet?
I don't think I have. No, I was trying to. Yeah, I gotta look it up. I gotta look it up.
It is too good. It is too good, man. Like I remember seeing the Seattle one and being like, okay, that's really fresh. And hoping and praying that there would be a Galaxy version, and it's just too good, man. It goes off like the green and black motif. It has all the championship years on it. Super good. I mean, it's just fantastic. So anyway, along the lines of the Mikkel Dencher hiring, we did mention that I don't know if you guys caught it, but buried in there in the information, Michael Stevens was promoted to assistant GM, so he'll I guess be working just underneath Will Kuntz now, and Tyson Wall will be promoted to Galaxy Academy director. Again, Ananda, this is like the identity of this club now. Like these are the men tasked with building the youth teams, the academy, the first team, and making them competitive and making them have that identity, making them have the philosophy, and not having just good players, but good men, like you said, coming through these ranks. So congratulations to Mikkel Dencher. Congratulations to Michael Stevens. Congratulations to Tyson Wall. We wish you the best in your new roles. Once a G, always a G. Kill it. Let's get that number 6. Bringing it on to VCFC. Their last match was a 2-3 loss to the Portland Timbers at home in penalties after 0-0 in regulation. This was their first shootout loss in 8 tries, Ananda. They had won every single other shootout that they had played. This was a tough one because I was kind of following this one online, and I really thought they were gonna pull this one out again, but they are still third in the standings with a 6-8-4 record. They are now on 33 points. Troubling. I've brought the stat up a couple of times. They have now not won in regulation in their last 7 matches. They haven't tasted victory in 7. So, VCFC started hot. They've kind of cooled down as of late, but they're still in third. They are at home next at the Willie Roll versus the Town FC on Sunday, July 28th at 7 p.m. Guys, real quick with a quick hit Marco Reus update. So there was an event at the Digs the other day called Picnic on the Pitch, and it's for like premium season ticket members, like the cats that drop big dollar on their season tickets, right? And at this event, somebody took a video of them asking Will Kuntz, like, hey, what's going on with Marco Reus? And he answered that it was close. I mean, you can clearly hear him say, "Hey, it's close. We're almost there." And then they asked him what number Reus would wear, and he said, "I don't like to ask. I'm pretty superstitious." So it looks like Will Kuntz believes it's going to happen. It's almost there. Roman Berkey, who is at the All-Star game in Columbus, also revealed that Marco Reus has called him a couple of times to ask him about the conditions in MLS and what it's like. But what we know so far is that the Galaxy need to clear up some cap space to make this happen. We don't know if that involves losing a player. We don't know if that involves them being able to work something out where they don't. But the Galaxy are still trying to make that Marco Reus deal happen. Watch this space. We'll give you guys any updates. And then last update here, Pups at the Pitch happened on Saturday, and it was part of a lovely, vibrant evening at the digs. I mean, just you could feel the energy at the digs as it was popping off. And I mean, one of the best parts about it was the Pups at the Pitch. I hope they do this again, and I hope one day Kobe is able to go to this thing. But Ananda laughs because he's Kobe's uncle, and he knows just how special Kobe is with his behavior. So anyway, but yeah, Pups at the Pitch was part of an awesome evening, and here to tell us more about his match day experience is a man who knows LA and LA culture like no other. I mean, if it's Los Angeles and it's poppin', he knows about it. He's worked under the world-renowned Pulitzer Prize-winning restaurant critic Jonathan Gold as a restaurant scout, is an associate producer for the GBA-winning Los Crónicas del Taco or the Taco Chronicles, the co-author of Oaxaca, Home Cooking from the Heart of Mexico, and Asada, the Art of Mexican-Style Grilling. His writing has appeared in the LA Times, Washington Post, Food and Wine, Saveur, and Bon Appetit, among others that I know of. But I know him just as Jefe, or the editor-in-chief for the James Beard Award-winning LA Taco, where he has been El Mero Mero since 2019. Please welcome to the show, Javier Cabral, El Mero Mero de LA Taco. Jefe, how are you?
Man, thank you so much for having me. That was quite the intro, but at the end of the day, I'm just a fool who loves to go play soccer with my dogs in the park and and go to Galaxy games whenever I can. But thank you so much for that.
And you know what? You a rocker, fool, because we see you out there at the punk shows too, man.
Yeah, actually that night after the Galaxy game, I was just feeling really, euphoric. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go to a show after this. And I wore my jersey deep in downtown LA at the Regent, and I was kind of like ready for whatever, because the other team that should not be mentioned, they've infiltrated, especially in the punk scene. And but I was prepared for whatever. I was down, but luckily it was all love. It was all it was cool. But
I didn't know about the infiltration. I mean, my wife keeps me at home and away from the punk scene. Me corté las greñas from when I was a young man and had long hair. But you know what? You were, like you mentioned, at the show. I'm sorry, at the game the other day, and you are a good luck charm because the Galaxy won again. What was the atmosphere like? Like, well, I mean, you said you were euphoric after the game. So tell me more about that feeling.
Yeah, man. I don't know. It was the reason why I went to this game is because we had some my wife's kind of friends who kind of like low-key family who adopted her when she moved from Mexico into the US is from Portland. And they're from Portland, and they came to LA, but it wasn't organized. It wasn't like they didn't come to watch this game, but it just ended up working out that way. And actually, the son of my wife's friend works at where the Timber Stadium.
Crazy!
And he rolled with his two little homies, but they're like 17 year old they're teenage white boys, So I wanted to come show them, just kind of see our style, our vibe, and he was down. Like that's a good thing about Portland, team people. They're like they just love the sport and they just love the culture and they just love like to come down and check it out. And it was very, they were because they play soccer themselves too. So it was for any little pass that like Portland would make or get close. They would get really excited. But obviously it was much more exciting for our side. But yeah, man, it was great. I realized it's so crazy because before I would say, I don't know, I told Rob that like, hey, like, well, thanks so much for having me, but I'm a very casual fan, right? And I disclosed that I'm not like hardcore. But there was one incident when I was at LAFC Stadium, whatever, Bank of California back then, during a Trafico, and I caught myself. I felt like sadness when Galaxy lost. It was one of the few ones that they won, and I don't know. I was like, damn, I guess I'm a Galaxy guy. So that was kind of like I felt it in my heart. It was crazy.
Well, we are going to ask you a little bit more about that Galaxy fandom, but I did, in that intro, because you're very accomplished and it's great to see a Latino from Los Angeles just be out there and killing it. But in your role right now, and in your main role as editor at LA Taco, you bring Los Angeles some of the best local journalism out there. We've told people on this pod a couple of times about the membership drive, a little bit about what's been going down with the Taco, but fill us in your own words about what's been going down and how that membership drive ended up, and then what we can do and what the chat can do to go ahead and help the Taco have some legs going forward.
Gracias, man. There was another moment when this dude, let me find him, but it was a Galaxy fan who was a fan of LA Taco. And he like sent me a photo of a game and a video. Rala Aslan, do you know who this person is?
I know the name, and yeah, we saw the name. We saw the photo of him holding up the LA Taco sign at a Galaxy game. So yeah, we know exactly what you're talking about, man.
That was like that was just a passionate fan who loves what we do, loves our journalism. And man, like when I saw that gave me so much drive and inspiration, and and as if I need another reason to love the Galaxy, right? But yeah, man, it's tricky, running an independent publication and independent journalism right now. It's in this age of like shrinking attention spans and doom scrolling and really trolly bad like evil comments. It's crazy. It feels like we're sometimes going uphill, but we started off the membership drive with like 1,200 members, and we ended it with 3,500 members. So we more than doubled it, and it was a big learning curve because what we're trying to find out right now what people want to read, because there's one side of people like our loyal members who like want to read deeper features, want to know what's up with their city. They have the attention span. But then there's like the masses that just read the headline and then they think they know everything and then they just leave a comment. So it's finding the secret for the future of journalism. For the future of journalism is somewhere in between those two weird polar opposites. It's crazy, but whenever we can, I do as much coverage of our local football culture because I love it so much. And we're actually trying hard to. I don't know if you know Afro Xander Ivan.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
great writer, by the way.
Great, yeah, excellent writer. He did a fun fact. I was a associate producer for Las Crónicas del Taco on Netflix. That was the taco show.
Absolutely.
Yep. And my boss for like the executive creator, like the producer, like my boss, he's a really good friend of mine. He actually did the documentary on Rafa Marquez. So
oh wow.
So he hit me up. Because I keep in touch with him. He actually moved out to Barcelona because his kid got accepted to like the Barca training team or some shit like for the youth team.
La Masia.
Yeah.
La Masia,
yep. And he hit me up, so I connected Ivan to that. But Ivan is such a he loves football, he loves LA culture, he loves journalism too. So we're actually trying to get started, and we haven't talked about it, so you'll hear it here first. It's an exclusive with you guys.
Ooh, an exclusive, guys.
We're trying to get like an LA Taco football club going. And, we want to get some kind of content coverage plan to cover, the World Cup coming up and all these other kind of collaboration of these leagues that are intertwining, as we all know, in the near future. So we're trying right now to shop it around. But yeah, that we have a deck going on, and yeah, we want to be like, you know, the official partner of, you know, of LA's just football culture. Hopefully the Galaxy's down, but right now we're working on the deck to present that. But you know, the Galaxy has been nothing but friendly to me. They've invited me to a lot of their events, and yeah, and I want to keep on going as much as I can.
Ooh, that makes me so excited, man, because there's, as chat knows, or as people watching the show know, I freelance occasionally for the Taco, and one of my fervent wishes has been that there one day would be soccer coverage in the Taco. So, oh man, you just made me this happy. I'm so happy in my heart, and I can't wait to see what comes of that, man. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. We're not giving up, man. We're, you know, it's just like Galaxy last year, right? You guys got to keep on holding up the hope.
Yeah. Speaking of last year, did you happen to hit any games?
Yeah, it was
last
Raul,
year?
yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Hey, what was it, Raul?
Yeah, it was Raul. That's why I was like, Javier, it's your lucky day, because that guy is in the chat, Raul G. Man.
Ooh, yeah, man. Hey, Raul G, he's a real one, man.
Yep.
You know what? You mentioned last year. Did you happen to hit any matches last year?
Yeah, I won a couple. I always go to a couple every year for sure.
What? Okay, so last year, obviously, the team was pretty bad. This year, they're in first place. What is, just, you know, based on your feeling from the other night, what differences did you see around the stadium? Like, you know, in attitude, did you see, like, yeah, you know what? I'll just let you take it away.
Liveliness, man. You know, it was packed. I mean, what I saw, I think you tweeted or you posted how much the attendance was. You know, given it was a Saturday, but yeah, there's just a, you know, everyone loves a winner, and it's, I know that like a lot of Galaxy fans are like, you know, lifelong fans, and they've been, you know, they're fans through thick and thin. So especially after last year, so you just, I don't know, there was like a sense of like catharsis, and that's why I use that word euphoria, because, you know, everyone's just so stoked after, you know. And as soon as another reason why I love the Galaxy too is because, you know, I'm like a punk, and you know, when the celebration song comes out, you know, that's
absolutely.
I've like, I think one time I made a little snarky post on Instagram, like I'd much rather hear that than that Dodgers one, you know.
Oh man, yeah, I grew up on that song. I mean, I told my wife, like, this song is always going to be dear to my heart, because I grew up being a little rowdy boy in the stands, being all pedo and running around and listening to that song, and so yeah, I mean, it's nostalgic for me now.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's crazy, like, you know, how much like the power, you know, the power of a team like this, you know, like, you know, they really have the power to send you home, you know, in a good mood, and, you know, you wake up the next morning and their life's beautiful, or, you know, if you get, or you lose, or you're like last year and you're just, it really affects you sometimes. So that's why I you know, I'm a very obsessive person, and like I already catch myself, like, whenever, you know, I'm like traveling or whenever I'm having dinner and if there's a Galaxy game, I just check on my phone real quick. So I have that tendency, but I just don't give into it, because if I, you know, like, I don't need one more thing to like get obsessed with and kind of, you know, mess with my emotions like that. You know? I already have journalism and trying to keep that shit alive here in LA.
Yeah, you have a big mandate already. You're like, man, if I go down that rabbit hole, that's the way I am with fantasy. Ananda's told me about fantasy a couple times. I'm like, no, I'll just get lost to the game. But
I was gonna say that's the beauty of this, right, Javier, is like, at least for us, that's the beauty of fandom. It's the ups, it's the downs, it's the journey. Yeah. It's the wins make it seem that much sweeter. The losses make it seem that much cooler. The El Traficos that we win, like, we just, we're ready to, you know, come out and say and sort of beat our chest about it, right? So yeah, that's the beauty of fandom, and you know, that's why we get on here with chat, and we're just like a little, when we lose, it's group therapy. When we win, it's fiesta, right? So it's that's just the way it is, man.
You know, and there's just like that feeling of it's a very intangible feeling, and that's exactly what was felt, I think, this last Saturday at the stadium.
Well, you know, since you are like you just no comida, bro? ¿Qué comió in el digs? Did you have anything from concessions? Do you want to put people on to any bites that you had?
Man, I'm old school, dude. Like I check out, like like I'm like a food person in my day job, So when I'm at the game, I just you're probably gonna laugh, but you know what I had? I had a soft serve. I had soft serve cone,
Ooh.
which is it's hot these days, and I'm like old school like that. I prefer soft serve ice cream to scooped ice cream, and it's you'll be surprised it's harder to find. And also the teenage boys that I was with, they were comparing everything, and by the way, they were all saying how much better the Galaxy Stadium is, like than the Portland by everything, and they were just like looking at at all these little things, and like the band that was playing, and they were just like crazy, And even though like I teased them, and I was like, because I have 2 Galaxy jerseys, and I asked them, I was like, hey, do you guys want to borrow one? And they're like, one thought about it, But
oh man, that would have been so great, bringing them to the light side.
And then I had another thing that I love is I have a soft spot for Negra Modelo. And as soon I had my Negra Modelo and my bag of peanuts, and man, that for me is like a perfect snack, perfect food, just salty. I love just the sensation of cracking open old school. It's a very old timey kind of, you feel like you're back in time and you're not on your phone, and you have to use your hands, and then you take a gulp of that tall boy of a Negra Modelo, which if you grew up punk, you grew up drinking like a lot of tall boys in the 40s. So I don't know. I think again, I checked out, man. I was just there to enjoy the game and to enjoy the action, and just commit myself to whatever, win or lose.
That sounds like a beautiful Los Angeles Saturday, a Negro Modelo tall boy and soft serve, and watching the Los Angeles Galaxy keep first place. Whoo!
Next time I'll put the soft serve in the beer, and maybe I'll do a float.
Ooh, a cerveza float. Oh, don't do it to him now. We do something on the show called I Used to Love Her, right? And I think you already kind of told us, right? But I Used to Love Her comes from a really good movie from the late aughts called Brown Sugar, where it's when did you fall in love with hip hop, right? So on this show it's when did you fall in love with the Galaxy? Now you told us that you realized it when the Galaxy lost in El Trafico. That's when you realized it, but is that when you fell in love with the Galaxy?
I think I fell in love. I don't know. I mean, maybe you can fall. I've been in a committed relationship for like 13 years now. So I'm a big believer of of continuing to evolve in your love. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if this answers the cop-out answer, but this last Saturday, it was you can definitely say that I kept on falling in love with that. I'm still in love.
Ooh, yes. For all you guys out there in the chat, love is an action word. You always are always loving, so it's a choice that you need to make. Something else that we do here on the show, Jefe, is word association. The game is simple. I give you a word, and you say the first thing that pops into your head, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So first one, Jorge Campos.
I gave a jersey to my wife of that.
Ooh, that's love.
Yeah,
that's
love right there.
Pre-marriage or when you were dating?
Pre-marriage, yeah.
And that's how she decided. Este es para mí.
And it was like a vintage one, it was like a real one. It wasn't like a pirata one.
If it's a vintage one, and I mean that's why she tied you down, man. Look, I mean, sheesh. Second one, David Beckham.
Fish and chips.
Fish and chips. Hey, pretty on the nose.
The food reference.
Then we have LA Galaxy icon and mascot Cosmo.
Grindcore, because of the drums, or his hands.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I love him going off like that. Some people in the press box absolutely hate it. I'm not going to burn you guys, but
it wakes you up. What? I mean, it's it's double pedal. It's there's a genre of this in music now. It's called what? Bass and drum or something, right? It's just percussion.
Cosmo, the first LA Galaxy drum and bass recording artist. Let's keep it with another Mexicano, Javier El Chicharito Hernandez.
I don't know, man. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, I'll just say, I mean, the first one that came to mind was Chivas. So that we'll keep it at that. But
Okay.
wait, it's just a one word association, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you can expand though.
Yeah.
My
You can
in-law,
cheat.
my in-law, he's like from Guadalajara, like Jalisco to death, and like Chivas fan to death. But recently, he's been like enjoying a lot more the Chivas Femenil because he's not as let down by the Chivas Femenil. And so yeah, that's unfortunately what I think. Sometimes I get targeted for like those kind of really brash memes about like how Chicharito hasn't really scored and how many games, right?
Oh, we keep it legit on this pod. I mean, he did not have a great year last year with the Galaxy, and that's why he had to go. And
And
that's
then
why he's
did
going
I
back to
see
Chivas.
did I see also that he turned down to like his goodbye like in the final like for Mexico for the national team? Did you guys see that?
No, I
No,
I didn't see
one.
that.
And so
No,
I follow because my wife is from Mexico. I'm Mexican American, but like I follow a lot of Spanish language sports media. And today I saw that Chicharito rejected the offer to play for a three in something coming up because he thinks that they're going to come knocking again. And then that was when I saw that like his actual stats of how not goals he scored for Chivas since he joined.
we're
So,
gonna
yeah,
have to look into that, because
Yeah.
when he was here in Los Angeles, like it was his fervent dream to be back with El Tri. So I'm gonna have to look into that and see what exactly happened on that one.
Yeah. The only thing I saw today that was interesting, speaking of Rafael Marquez, is he apparently is looking into the L3 job. He's leaving Barça B, which he's got a good thing going on there, doing the academy. But it looks like he is gonna go. I forgot in what capacity, but he's looking
assistant
to,
coach.
get into the Mexican Federation setup. So that would be
Yeah,
interesting.
he'll be Javier Vasco Aguirre's assistant coach, but like you said, he's going from Barcelona's second team to the national team. So who knows if he'll be the boss of bosses one day. But speaking of boss of bosses, we're gonna give Javier the last one here. A guy that you saw up close and personal the other day. The guy that we call the prince who was promised on the show, Riqui Puig.
Veladora, the candle, because I got to go into the what's it called, the showers, no, the lockers
Nice.
during the last little press. It was like the day that we were supposed to work out with them outside, but then it rained, remember? And I got to go see like everyone's locker room, and I saw that it was right before actually I posted about it. And then someone from the Galaxy social media reached out, and they were like, "Hey, can you please take it down because I guess his new number was there, and I guess I leaked it."
Dang! I wish I had seen that one.
But yeah, hold on. So now let me do it on you. Let me reverse this with word association. I'll say a
Okay.
word, and you guys let me know.
Okay.
Zlatan.
I say lion.
Zlatanazo.
I say lion.
Zlatanazo?
Yeah, the lion.
Whenever I hear Zlatan, all I think about is that goal where he tied it up in the first El Trafico, and yeah, he put the Zlatanazo on him. That's what I think of. I mean, I think Zlatan, I see that kick happening in my head and just tears from the other side. Gorgeous moment.
Yeah. Well, I think of that or Zava from Ted Lasso. So that, one of those.
Yeah. And also that the LA Times like ad, remember?
Los Angeles, thank you.
Yeah. No, you're welcome.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah.
Welcome. I wish I was thinking. Now you're welcome.
Yeah.
But he's probably the only player who can do that and get away with it.
He actually the other day was on a podcast or like a stream.
He's doing live.
And,
with,
and he said Speed, I believe.
Speed, yeah.
Yeah, and he said he came to MLS to show them what real soccer is like. Last question, Jefe, and then we'll let you get out of here. Because you are the boss of LA Taco. This one is kind of a weird question. So you guys, so you can take a moment to think about it if you want. But if the LA Galaxy was a taco, what kind of taco would it be?
Oh man, that's a great question. I would have to say like carne asada, and just handmade corn tortilla, and just like thick guacamole, what some people would call like what some people would call Tijuana style, but what other people would just say LA backyard style. You know, just real simple, real effective, and it's a kind of taco that you can enjoy like often. You know, because it's there's beauty and simplicity. So yeah.
I actually pictured being next to my tío who's manning the grill, grabbing the tortilla off the grill and him putting the piece of carne asada on that taco. Oh man, I love it. Thank you so much, Jefe, for joining us today on the show. It's been a pleasure. Please, one more time for those in the chat that might not have caught it, or those that are listening that might not have caught it at the beginning, where can people find you? Where can people find the taco? And how can they help?
Thank you so much. Yeah, so you can support us by checking us out on lataco.com. If you love our content, if you love the tacos that we write about, and you have found God in tacos after reading our stories, please consider becoming a member. You actually get free tacos, you get free aguas frescas, and you get a free T-shirt or a hat, which we're very aligned with LA Galaxy. So that's it. LA Taco. Read us. Check us out. Thank you so much, man. I'll see you on the next day.
No problem. Thank you, Jefe.
And whoever Dallas Land who invited me to the next one. Yeah, man. Send me a DM. I'm as long as I'm not busy. Let me know what's up.
There you go, Raul.
There you go. There you go.
Wait, hold on. Look, going backtrack. One question. One answer. When did I love the Galaxy? I think when I saw the Addicts, which supporter section has Monkey from the Addicts as like the flag. Yeah, you guys know this. Like there's like a guy who does like a bunch of punk like inspired Galaxy art.
I'm not. I want to say Riot Squad.
I think it's Angel City Brigade.
Yeah, I want to say Riot Squad. Oh.
Riot Squad. There you go. Okay, that was another reason. Okay, that's it. Right.
I wasn't 100. I wasn't 100, but we'll get down to it. We'll get down to finding that out for you. But it looks like you're going to be at one of the games soon.
Little Apple says ACB. Yeah.
Little Apple says ACB. Okay, right on. There you go. Little Apple letting us know what up. Little Apple, welcome back to the chat. Jefe, we're gonna see you at the stadium soon. Yes, that's old school. ACB has cramps and circle jerk logos. There you go. He's got the definitive answer. Little Apple, gracias. Well, until we meet again, Jefe, we'll see you at the digs. Thank you so much.
It was a fun ass time.
Thanks for stopping by, Javier. Buenas noches.
Viva LA Taco.
Let's go.
Orale. So, guys, that was the reason we need to support independent local journalism, because this man, Javier, has been doing it for a long, long time. He's been the boss of LA Taco since 2019, and he's going to continue to kill it. I mean, guys, get out there and support LA Taco. You know it's right.
That was cool, Gary. And we wanted to just bring someone on. Like he said, he's a casual fan. He's not a hardcore fan. Like, he's not a stats geek like me. He's not a journalist or is into the know for the team like, some other people that we bring on. So I thought that was really, really fun perspective. And man, support the taco for sure. I know me and my wife are big taco fans. So Rob, we gotta get in there. We gotta do the LA Taco and show him some love for sure.
Yeah. I mean, Ananda's wifey is such a lover of tacos that literally after every time we go out, her first question is, who's down to go get some tacos?
¿Y dónde vamos?
¿Quién les apetece tacos? And I'm like, yes, okay. So she's after my own heart. But guys, yeah, I had a great time. Yeah, like Ananda said, like, Javier's a casual fan. Like he said, he's a casual fan. But it takes all kinds of Galaxy fans to build this community. I mean, he was on the show today. He got an invitation to go party in ACB. He goes to ACB, he has a great time. All of a sudden, there's another hardcore member of Galaxy fandom and the community. And you know what? It's because we just wanted to say a quick hello. But yeah, like I said, support the taco. That's all I'm going to say about it. Vamos LA Taco and Vamos LA Galaxy, who are first place in the West, let's get into this match summary here. Playing the third of 3 matches in the span of 7 days, they earned a 3-2 victory over the Timbers in front of almost 24,000 fans at the Digs. Your DPs, Riqui, Puig, Joseph Paintsil, and Gabriel Peck, each recorded a goal as the Galaxy remained unbeaten at home and remained in first place. It was the second time this season that all 3 DPs have scored in the same match. The first time was that 4-3 win over San Jose on April 21st. Joseph Paintsil recorded at least a goal and an assist in a single match in 5 games. This is the, I believe, the second or third time he's done it this year. Diego Fagundes notches 4th assist of 2024 with his 10th goal of the season, scored in the win. Peck becomes the 4th player in team history to produce at least 10 goals and 10 assists. Zlatan, Romain, and Landon did it as well. Very, very good company to be in for Mr. Pecky. And 18 all-time regular season matches played at the Digs against Portland. The Galaxy now hold a 10-3-5 record and is unbeaten in the last 7 regular season matches played against the Timbers. But of course, it all starts with the lineup. Ananda, what'd you think of this lineup that Greg put out?
Well, let's put it up. So again, this was the lineup before the match, and I mean, pretty straight lineup. I mean, we talked about it. I think Greg was going to keep this lineup pretty consistent. Again, a lot of it was forced, but the big change was so Cuevas came out of the side this time, and John Nelson came into his traditional left back position. Mickey Yamane slotted back to the right hand side. But the Killer Peas stayed intact, and Diego stayed on the left with Mark and Edwin in the middle. Of course, the other change also was Martin Cáceres was inserted into the lineup. So, yeah, man, I mean, again, coming to this game, lineups aside, I felt confident coming into this game, but I also was weary of the threat that Portland had. You look at their front four, Robert, and, that's one of the things we'll talk about as well is the threat of that front four. I mean, that I would argue that is one of the best front four in the league, front four attacks in the league. Very comparable to ours, especially when you have Decky in there. So, yeah, anything stood out for you on the lineup or made you turn your head a little bit?
Not initially. I was thinking about the lineup afterwards, and here's why I say that. Of course, Joseph Paintsil leads the line again in this lineup that Greg Vanney puts out, and he does very well, which led me to read some tweets that made me think about this. So some people out there were saying that Dayon is all of a sudden lost his starting spot because JP did so well in that false 9 or playing as leading the line. So, I mean, I was thinking about the lineup afterwards. I didn't really see too much in the lineup beforehand to really get worked up about. I mean, Martin Cáceres, I mean, he's been, it's either been him or Jalen Neal coming in and out of the lineup, so that one was normal. The other defense adjustments were normal. Johnny Pettis made the bench again. I didn't see any time, but he made the bench. So yeah, no, I mean, it's pretty normal. And
yeah, I was gonna say, by the way, Robert, isn't it such a great change of pace to have a predictable lineup versus last year when we had no idea what was going on, and when we saw the lineup, we were like, "What the heck?" Right? Like we kept.
It'd be like Lear Dom at like center back and like.
And again, that was the story of last year, was a lot of the injuries. Ricky's talked about that a couple times. In fact, he answered your question last press conference about he doesn't want to compare this year to last year. Last year was a plethora of injuries, and that added to the unpredictability. And now it's a change of pace in that. What's that?
Wait, did Ricky answer my question in today's or
no? The last press conference that you had,
gotcha.
He was answering. He was talking about. I think you asked him about. Comparing this year to last year, and he doesn't like doing that. A big reason of that was for injuries, and which led to the unpredictability of the lineup. This year, it's pretty consistent, right? You plug in. We're not putting square pegs in round holes anymore. It's predictable, and we're putting players in the right position, and they are excelling in those positions in that system. So, yeah, man, what a change of pace. That's one big plus for this year, definitely.
Well, Greg also spoke about predictability, being predictable for each other, and yeah, I mean the DPs are largely being predictable for each other. I mean, they are producing where they need to be. I mean, to be quite honest, at the start of this match, I kind of found that the opening exchanges were a little dull. I mean, they were kind of probating each other until there was a moment of quality. Riqui Puig again just able to find Joseph Paintsil and his speed, and he releases him down the right flank for the Galaxy's first goal. Joseph Paintsil, super unselfish, squares for Gabriel for the sliding tap in. I was going to say easy tap in, but he actually had to kind of catch up to this one and slide into it. So anyway, Galaxy go up 1-0 into the half, and yeah, I mean, like I said, the Galaxy DPs, they largely did what they needed to do. I brought up a stat in the last pod about how the time when Portland gets scored on the most is in the last 15 minutes of the half, in the first 15 minutes of the half. Well, it's absolutely true. The Galaxy scored in the 38th minute. They came back from the half and they scored in the 48th. In this one, Joseph Paintsil turns provider again. He squares it to Riqui, and Riqui takes a touch and he drills it low into the left corner. I mean, I don't know con qué arte este señor se saca el zapato, because like, I know when we go play on Saturday, bro, like it's murder to take off a shoe, and this cat just took off a shoe like nothing and then just like put it right back on. GCam tripas are excellent. Anyway, back to the show. So Riqui scores this goal from Joseph Paintsil. So just right off the bat, already in the 40th minute, Joseph Paintsil has a goal and an assist in this one. He has another strong showing. And he absolutely needed it. 2 games in a row where he plays very, very well. Looks like he's starting to find that confidence again. So, but like in everything in Galaxy Land, they make you question. It can never just be easy, right? So they give up a goal in the 52nd minute, transition goal. Jonathan Rodriguez strokes this one home into the right bottom corner from the left wing. I believe that one was from you spoke about Ananda, this front four. I mean, pretty much the entire front four was involved. This one, Rodriguez goal from Orvander and Santiago Moreno. So they get one back 2-1, but the Galaxy and their DPs, the Killer Peas, are able to get a third through Joseph Paintsil for his second goal of the night. Diego Fagundes, peach of a ball, Ananda. What did you see on this one, man?
Yeah, I was sitting on that side, so I had the perfect view of it. It was kind of just a normal buildup, right? But you see that, in Vanny Ball especially, we look, we can build up, but we've always talked about it, Rob, is sort of that incisive pass, that sort of key pass, right? And Diego, again, he's a very, very smart player on that weak side, saw that JP was running, and one of the things that JP did very, very well this game was his movement. He saw the movement, he hit it almost, what's the word I'm looking for, with the outside of the foot, Travella style, right? And peach of a ball to Joseph. And again, a calm finish, which, lately he's been a little bit inconsistent with his finishing, but this game and the last couple of games, really, he's been a little bit more calm, I think composed, confident. I think, some of that has to do with fitness, but a lot of it it's just seeing the ball in the back of the net. And now we're starting to see that. And that was a peach of a goal. Again, great ball by Diego from the outside of the foot. What a smart player that guy is. Again, just an asset to this team.
I did say erroneously that Joseph Paintsil scored 2 goals. He did not. This was his first. That was his first. XPH as well says, as good as Paintsil played, he missed a couple of easy goals. I can't think of one.
Well, the one in the first half, he tried to flip it over the keeper. That was in the first 5 minutes of the game. To me, first 10 minutes, he was kind of clean through, and he tried to dink it over the keeper, and the keeper just
yeah.
There was one of those, and then I mean, to be fair to him, he scored the offside goal. That was a good goal. Unfortunately, it was offside, clearly offside. And I'm trying to think of the other ones, but Yeah, I mean, again, he's getting better. I wouldn't say he's the most clinical player, Rob, and I think we've seen that even throughout his Galaxy. He's been, up and down when he's one of those players that he needs to see the ball go in the back of the net to gain his confidence, and that's where he'll be a little more clinical. But he's not the most clinical finisher, I don't think, if you compare it to, guys in the upper echelons of the league in terms of his hit rate. So, but that speed, man, you don't teach speed. Speed just comes naturally, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's a weapon. I mean, when he gets that confidence back, he's going to be absolutely devastating. And it helps that he got this goal to, like I said, get another strong showing in this match. But of course, the Galaxy are up 3-1, and like we've mentioned a couple times, they can't make it easy on themselves. A guy that we've spoken about a couple of times in the past week, Santiago Moreno, just basically picks his ball up and he dribbles a good 30-40 yards until he's outside of the box, and he just drills a shot into John McCarthy's net. I mean, it's just a rifle of a shot. No one steps to him, and it's just. I hope that was like the one and only like goal they give up like that this year. I mean, the Puig goal against Minnesota was a little bit like that, but this one was a little bit more flagrant. I mean, they let this man get to the top of the box and just unleash a shot for the 3-2. But fortunately, the Galaxy are able to see this one out. The one and only Rocio said, anxious. Yeah, I mean, what was that?
Nail biter, GCam said.
Nail biter, sorry. Yeah, so anxious and nail biter, yes. Last couple minutes were, but the Galaxy are able to see it out. So, Ananda, bring us the stats that brought us the victory.
Yeah, so again, if you look at the stats, Rob, very, very close game, and it even proved out to be in the stats, 52% possession for the Galaxy compared to Portland's 48. Again, not as dominant as we normally are. 1.75 expected goals versus Portland's 1.16. But again, we were more clinical in our chances because we both had 16 total shots. 6 of ours were on target. 4 of Portland's were on target. We had 2 big chances, and we did not miss any of them. We were clinical on both of them. Of course, one of them was pretty open net. Of course, Gabi had to chase to that. And then, one of the other goals, Riqui's, was not a big chance because that was just a clinical finish outside the box. That was one of those, outside the foot sort of wands with his right foot, outside the box. But Portland, again, we live pretty dangerously in this game, Robert. And I go back to the comments in the chat because Portland had some really, really big chances as well. Luckily, they missed both of them. McCarthy pulled off a big save in the second half as well. I remember there was a Santiago Moreno one in the first half. I was sitting on that side. I thought that ball was going to go in. Just a curling effort that just went wide. And then Evander from Riqui losing the ball in his own half, and Evander shooting it just a little bit outside. But again, those in the playoffs, we've got to be careful on those, right? And we might talk about that later in terms of the outlook and what we have to do for the next 8 games. But and then dominant, passing wise, we weren't as dominant. 523 accurate passes versus Portland's 472. So yeah, Rob, the stats and the score line showed that this was a close game. And as we called it, right, we said Portland was a good team. They're riding a hot streak. I can't remember the exact. I don't want to misquote. I want to say it was 5 or something, unbeaten, something like that coming into this game. They weren't on an unbeaten streak. And we knew it was going to be a tough game, and the stats in the end proved out to be. But luckily, we were clinical in our chances. We just made it hard on ourselves, unfortunately, with those couple of moments of defensive lapses.
Your boy was right. 2 weeks in a row, 3-2. Yay!
Yep.
Let's bring up a couple another stats here. In 9 games played dating back to June 15th, the Galaxy hold a record of 7-2-0 with 19 goals scored, 11 against, and 12 matches played at the Digs in 2024. They hold a 9-0-3 record to stay unbeaten. They've won 7 consecutive matches at the Digs dating back to May 27th. And they've outscored their opponents 19-9 in that period. In 12 matches played at the Digs. And, we've been waxing lyrical about the DPs. Well, here's some more on them. and 12 matches played at home at the Digs. Gabriel has tallied 8 goals and 8 assists. Joseph Paintsil has 11 goal contributions, 5 goals and 6 assists in 10 matches. And Riqui Puig has 5 goals and 6 assists in 10 matches. DP's getting it done. In 13 matches in which they've played together, dating back to March 23rd, Gabriel has scored 7 goals and 4 assists. Paintsil has notched 4 goals and 8 assists, and Riqui Puig has 3 goals and 11 assists. They are the only trio of teammates in MLS this season to have scored 8 goals and 9 assists. But they weren't the only standout performers in this one. Mark Delgado, 4 lungs, now we're calling him, because 3 is just not enough. He created a game-high 5 chances, completed 90% of his passes, won 5 of 7 duels, made 2 tackles, won 11 possessions, and registered 1 interception in the win. And John Nelson had another strong showing. He had his first career assist for the Galaxy, won 2 tackles, 2 duels, and 8 possessions, recorded 1 interception, and completed 91% of his passes, which means the Galaxy ranked first in MLS with 10 games with 3 or more goals scored during 2024. So they are getting the offensive production to go with these victories here, Ananda. And what they now need to put together, and we'll talk about this a little bit more, is that defense. But we've been waxing lyrical again about the DPs, and there was an interesting question that you actually wanted to talk about. I saw it in the Twitter sphere, and I thought it was interesting. And so take it away.
Yeah, well, I'm just gonna flash it up on the screen, and this is for you guys in the chat too, just to kind of, because I thought this is an interesting sort of debate or thought raiser. But of course, Chris Tucker, shout out Chris, man, from the Carolinas, at ZeroCool136. He said that Puig. He just simply said, Puig isn't the best. 138. Sorry, Puig isn't the best player on the Galaxy anymore, and he just left it at that. And I thought that the thread below it was really interesting. But yeah, you know what? I actually responded to this tweet, and I will get to that in a second. But Rob, I wanted to sort of get your heat check on this. What do you think about this comment, just as a thought?
Wow, it's
kind of loaded, right?
It is loaded because there's so many layers to it. Real quick, XPH says probably alone on this island, but Miguel Berry had a solid few minutes with a clear clearance off a set piece. You are not alone, just like Michael Jackson said, you are not alone. No, I big ups to Miguel Berry for coming on in his cameo and doing what he needed to do. Made a couple of defensive, maybe not clearances, but made his body felt on the defensive end to go ahead and help the Galaxy see this one out. Okay, enough dilly-dallying. Yeah, this one is loaded and it's nuanced, because, I mean, by what metric are we saying best player? By the one that produces the most? Are we saying the one who's the most instrumental and most important? I mean, or is just best he's the best with the ball technically? Which way are we going with this? But if we're answering it the way I think that Tucker wants us to answer it, yes,
most valuable. Let me reframe it as most valuable player on the Galaxy. So
I don't know. I really don't.
I'm gonna play the.
Because the thing is, it's it changes from game to game. I mean, yeah. and that's really the way it should be. I mean, there should be different players for different occasions, and I would say that Riqui is probably the most important player generally on the Galaxy. Yeah. However, as we saw earlier in the season, they don't absolutely need him to win. He was out 4 matches. They won those 4 matches. I mean, they were able to get it done. However, things get a lot easier when he's there. I mean, he has that particular skill set where it's just that much easier. But then, if replace that, or take that another way and say, change that statement and make it Gabriel Peck is the best player on the Galaxy. You know, is that statement true?
I think statistically recently, probably, right? It just depends on the angle. But so I guess building off of that, but before I build off of that, I'm going to build off of chat because there's some good chatter about this. And again, this is why I brought this up, because I thought it was an interesting thing that, Chris Tucker is always coming up with the goods. He always brings up very interesting things to kind of noodle and think about.
Tucker, come on the show.
Crespo says he's not wrong. GCam says if you remove the orchestrator, you remove one of the crucial dudes pulling the strings. Yes, he goes hero ball mode at times, but still a key piece of the offense. Rocio says I feel all the players have room for growth and improvement. And yeah, totally. And so just to build off of your point, Rob, and the fact that what are we judging this on or whatever. I kind of, well, not me, but some hack online named Ananda Galaxiana responded to this tweet and said, you're not wrong. And I see this as a positive rather than a negative or knocking him. He's a fantastic player. We all know this. But this just means that the floor and ceiling of this team has raised significantly from the last couple of years. And that's a huge plus for me. So I kind of flipped the question on its head and to say, I think this is like one of those things where us Galaxy fans, the media, there's just chatter around it. But at the end of the day, to me, it doesn't. Well, let me put it this way. Not that it doesn't matter, but I'm happy that we're having this debate because you know why, Rob? That means there's more than one really, really talented player on this team, right? So that I'm just going to leave it at that. And that's sort of the positive spin I wanted to put on this. But the last thing I'll say, though, is and I started to say it last episode, and I'm going to say it again. It kind of reinforced it when I saw him live and in person. I think Gabriel Peck, to me, has the highest ceiling on this team, talent-wise. And maybe this is a wrong way to look at it, or maybe there's a better way to look at this. In chat, you let me know if you think this is the right way to look at it. But I think in a potential transfer fee, if we were to sell these players, I think Gabriel Peck has the potential, man, to break that MLS record one day and have him be sort of the most valuable player in terms of money, in terms of the transfer fee. I think more than Riqui. There's a lot of reasons behind that, but I think talent-wise, he just has the highest ceiling. He's got that platform to go off of. So maybe I'm thinking of it the wrong way, but if I look at it in that perspective, yeah, I think Gabriel Peck has the highest ceiling on this team. But again, that's not a knock on Riqui. That's just to say, dude, we've got some mad good players on this team. Don't forget JP as well, because that guy is a menace, right, with the speed.
Yeah, it's a plus to even have the conversation. And yes, I agree that when Gabriel Peck leaves, that he probably can and will break the transfer record held currently by Miguel Almiron. I believe it's at like 26 or 27 million. And anywhere between 24 and 27. I don't remember the exact number, but yeah, I mean, when he goes, he's going to go for a princely sum. But again, it's great that we're having the conversation, and it's great that there's little kids in a Galaxy loving family that one little brother wants to be Gabriel Pecky, and maybe little sister wants to be Riqui Puig, and maybe the other little sister wants to be Joseph Paintsil, and maybe the other little brother wants to be Mark Delgado. That's wonderful. It's great that the team has good players. And we have these kind of conversations now. But I want to ask the chat another question. Since we're Crespo says,
he's right. Yeah, he's right. I remember Tom saying that. Yeah, you are right, Crespo. I think there's something going on with some of the math in the deal. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, I think Gabri. I mean, I know there's some Premier League teams that would look at a guy like Gabriel Peck, inverted winger. Man, I could see some Premier League teams paying for that guy for sure.
Oh man, I didn't know this
you had a question though. You had a question.
Oh, I don't even remember it anymore because then I started thinking about Alphonso Davies and his transfer record. Like, we were actually speaking about this the other day in the press room right before Greg came in, and we all thought it was Miguel Almiron as well. So
I think it was something about what was guaranteed and what was not, or I can't remember. Crespo, if you remember what Tom said exactly, I don't want to misquote Tom because Tom is the stash and the ever and all knowing. But really quick, I was thinking this as well, so I want to bring this up. This team is a complete 180 from last year. If you would have told me last year that we'd be top of the West, I wouldn't believe it. On that same note, Rob, last year we were talking about why can't this team like not get red cards and completely throw away games for the life of them and that was the debate. Like, why is this team so bad? Versus this year, it's like, who's the best player? Like, remember when we said last year, these are the debates
I remember my
have,
question.
and now we're having this debate.
I remember my question. So based on that, based on the one and only Reus, the team is a complete 180 from last year. Thank you for being my memory jog, one and only Reus. Something that both Greg and Riqui and Diego have spoken about with me in the past couple of days. Are the LA Galaxy an elite team?
Ananda? I'm gonna leave it to chat. Chat. What do you think, man? What do you think?
No.
You say no.
No. I'm not the only one.
Oh, well, how do you define elite though? I'm gonna go back to your little thing before about like, hey, like how are we judging Riqui? Like, what are the parameters, right? Well, what are you saying is elite? Are you saying that like they have to win a chip? Because I think like being back and being an elite team, I think those are two different things. And maybe this leads into my point a little bit, bro. I'm just gonna flash this up on the screen really quick. And this is the supporter shield standings of where we are, right? So a couple of things that I want to point out. Again, I'm not making a conclusion here. I'm just bringing out the facts. Of course, we are second place. Yes, we have 2 more games played than 1 or 2 than most of the teams on this list, other than Colorado. But Rob, we have a 1.88 points per game. That is, let me look at the screen here. That's 4th best, right, at the moment. We have the best home record, along with LAFC, amongst the top 10 teams at 9-1-3. We have 50 goals for, which is, let me look there, 3rd or 4th best, right, within the top 10 teams. Our goals against is 36, which isn't terrible. I mean, it's, we've been saying a lot about our defense, and I know that's a point that you wanted to make also. But, of course, we're not a Columbus or an elite defensive team, even like a Cincinnati, although they've come up. I think they've obviously the loss of Miazga has hindered them a little bit. But, Rob, you look at this and you're like, there is a case to say that the LA Galaxy are an elite team. I mean, you look at the facts. Look at where we are in the Supporter Shield standings. Best home record. Right?
And dang, the one and only Reus popping off today in the chat because like she said, there's things to improve on. I mean, look at 5 losses, all right? 3 of them shouldn't have happened. Austin shouldn't have happened. Austin was terrible at the moment. They go down to Austin, they lay a stinker. Shouldn't have happened, right? They go to Chicago. Chicago was absolutely abysmal at the moment when the Galaxy went there. Laid a stinker there. Shouldn't have happened. Dallas, not in a good moment when they went to Dallas. Bunch of injuries in a losing skid. Lost to Dallas as well. And then the other 2 against LAFC, I mean, it could be argued that they haven't played their best football in either, right? And they've let the opponent dictate the game. So that's what I mean by elite in this sense, is that they haven't gotten to that point where they dictate the match to their rivals. Somebody in chat, I believe, or we might have mentioned it last pod, said they are playing down to their rivals. And that's what we saw against Chicago. That's what we saw against Dallas. That's what we saw against Austin. And then they're not winning those big matches against their rival like LAFC twice. But again, I'm not the one who said it. I mean, Greg said it first. Riqui said it. Diego said it. We spoke to Greg about where he thinks this team is, and he says that they need to evolve. They need to take their next evolution, which is that they need to become now a cup championship team. So far they've been a good team, but they need to evolve, and they need to evolve better defensively, and that's where Diego comes in. He said that yes, they're a good team. They have a good roster, good players with quality. But now to take that next jump, they need to improve defensively. Riqui Puig backed him up by saying that in the last 8 games they need to keep playing it the way they've been playing and take every match as what Greg says, what Greg is preaching, staying within the system. So these aren't things that players bring up for nothing, right? So again, it's not me saying it, it's these players saying it. They know they're a good team, but they also know they're not an elite team yet. So that's just my 2 cents on it.
Yeah, I mean, I think, chat, you guys are bringing up some really, really good points, and I think it backs up a lot with what Rob just said, and what the players and Vanny are saying in the presser as well. And I think, I think this is the way to cap this off. I think for me is going into the eight games from now, Rob. We look at, or Hammer always talks about, like, not peaking too soon, right? Like, you want that momentum heading into the playoffs. And so I think this 8-game stretch will go a long way to show us fans and kind of help us answer this debate to see if they are an elite team. Are they going to fix those defensive mistakes?
Ask me in a month and a half.
Ask me in a month and a half right before playoffs. One is obviously if we can get that number 1 seed, there's a lot of work to do to get that number 1 seed, right? So if they do get that number 1 seed, I think that's a step in the right direction. I think that's progress towards answering this question. And they're going to show us a lot. Again, a lot of the things that chat is saying about their inconsistency defensively, lapses in concentration, I think those will be answered in the last 8 games. And especially when we have Marco Reus, that'll be fun to watch, right? So good debate, guys. Like, thanks for participating in that. And I think, TBD, ask me in a month and a half, just like Rob said.
Yeah, and you know what? Something that we haven't spoken about is the emergence of Garces. I mean, he's recently gotten more and more minutes. Normally we see Jalen Neal come on to spell Martin Cáceres. We didn't see that in this game. Not sure if anything's up with Jalen or just coach's decision, but Miro Garces is playing more and more minutes. I'd be delighted to see an Miro Garces and Jalen Neal partnership in the Leagues Cup. That would be a fun one. But maybe between Miro Garces' emergence, Jalen Neal's return to form, and the rest of the defense, maybe that's where the answer lies. Just that one piece. Chat. You guys have made me so hungry with all the taco talk.
I know. I know, man. Tenemos hambre aquí. Well,
tenemos hambre.
That's what happens at 10:30 at night. That's what happens when you bring Javier on, man. That's
right.
Yeah, but
anyways, and they were talking about the tripitas and stuff like that too. I know that'll be the moment of the day tomorrow for me if I get my hands on some tripitas. But let's bring you the moment of the match. The Galaxy's official moment of the match was Gabriel Pecky reaching 10 goals and 10 assists. However, my moment of the match, Ananda, was JP's goal. We spoke about it. He took it with confidence. His second straight strong performance, and the Galaxy will need him to be that strong, if not stronger, for them to make that push. Like you said, don't peak too early. Well, JP is coming on right now, and long may it rain. For his performance, he made the MLS Team of the Match Week starters, and he is your first candidate for defending the badge. He recorded a goal and had an assist in this match for the second consecutive match in the win. He had 4 shots, 2 chances created, 2 recoveries, and 2 duels won. Of course, you have the Prince who is promised down there in Columbus right now representing the Galaxy. He tallied his 8th goal and 11 assists of the season, 6 total shots, completed 3 dribbles, won 6 of 11 duels, won 4 possessions, 1 interception, 4 recoveries, 6 duels won, and was fouled 3 times. He makes the MLS Team of the Match Week bench. Gabriel Pecky, the other DP, his 10th goal of the season, 6 total shots, 1 clearance, 1 interception, 4 recoveries, and 7 duels won. And of course, Mark Delgado, who is not a DP, but he has 4 lungs. He covered over 6 kilometers in the match. 5 chances created, 7 passes into the final third, 1 interception, 9 recoveries, and 8 duels won. Ananda, who do you have in this one?
Yeah, I am going to give this one. I have an honorable mention, though, but I am going to give it to Gabriel Peck. As I told you, Rob, I had a perfect view. I was, I don't know if he's still in the chat, but shout out AG, who hooked me up with the tickets, man. He got me on second row, and, that was lovely. So I got a really, really good view of the pitch, and just watching Gabriel Peck live, dude, it's the guy's pretty amazing, right? Just the things that he does with the ball, on and off the ball, by the way. I was sitting with some folks next to me, and they're just oohing and eyeing on every little step over. He's that, I thought he was a really good one-on-one player, but I didn't think he had like this capacity on him. Again, all I've seen before was him coming. I'd never heard of the guy, so I was just looking at Vasco da Gama highlights and stuff like that. But just his work on and off the ball. I want to talk about the off the ball piece too, because I remember there was the last play of the game, or last play of the first half. Sorry, Evander. It was the Evander chance that, to be honest, we got lucky on that one. Right before the end of the half, and Gabriel Peck tracked back all the way, and he tried to get a foot. He might have adjusted or affected that shot, but you see him on his knees, just super tired. I think he just did a sprint the other way, and then he had to go back and play defense, right? And he like slammed his arms on the floor, and you look at his guys, and it's almost like he's got the confidence to have that dependability, that accountability. Say, guys, like, what are we doing? We gotta close this half out the right way. And he's just looking at his players and not necessarily berating them, but just giving in that death stare, right? So just beautiful to see moments like that. And you talk about it a lot. Suda por la camiseta, right? That guy sweats, like not just on the ball, oohing and eyeing and giving us all the oohs and ahs, but he is doing really, really well defensively and works really, really hard for the team. So I got to give to the defending batch to Gabi Peck, but I want to give an honor mention to Edwin Cerrillo, man. Watching that guy live is also a treat. The way that guy controls the midfield almost by himself at certain points of the game, he's that release valve when teams try to come and pressure us, but his technical ability, his pivots, his swivels, the way he uses his body feints in certain moments to get defenders off of him, man, he's a treat to watch as well. And like I said, I'm glad I got those seats, because I was treated to watching some players really up close and personal. But defending the batch for me, it's got to be Gabi Peck, man. That guy is on another level right now, and he's the consecutive winner, right? Remember my rule: you got to snatch it off of him, but ain't no one snatching it off of Gabi, man. That guy's incredible.
Well, I don't agree with you, but before I tell you why. I'm going to read some of these comments in chat.
Is it more food?
Yeah, a little bit of food, but also, Riquinho talk. G-Cam says live pod with at Taqueria Riquinho. I didn't know Riquinho had a taqueria, but I'm down. Crespo says the machaca burrito sounds good. XP8 says Riquinho official LCH mascot, down. And G-Cam says, dude, that's another one I've never tried. Everyone says machaca is fire. Yes, G-Cam, it is. Have a machaca and egg burrito in the morning for breakfast one day. You'll thank me. Anyway, G-Cam also says Nelson defended the badge with his face.
That he did.
Man, I completely forgot about that, and now I just want to give it to him just because of that. But no, no, I got to give it to Joseph Paintsil, man. I mean, the second strong game, like I said, he needed it. He showed up, and his goal was taken with such confidence. I just loved it, and we got to hear his music live at you and I at the digs.
G-Cam.
Yeah, man, we got to hear his music. So for me, it was Joseph Paintsil. Of course, it doesn't matter what we want, because this is a show for the people. And with 98 million votes, the winner this week, yes, Jesus loves you.
Jesus loves
Gabriel Peck,
you.
with his 7th win, with 42% of the vote. Gabriel Pecky with his 7th win. Congratulations to Gabriel Pecky for his win. So after all that, where does that leave the LA Galaxy heading into the break? through 26 matches. This season, they have a 14-7-5 record, 50 goals scored for, 36 against. They are now just 1 point less than Vanny's best point total all time on 49 points. So just one more point makes it Vanny's just one more win makes it Vanny's best season ever in charge of the Galaxy. They are still in first place in the Western Conference, and they sit on top of the Western Conference for the first time since 2011 at the All-Star break. So we always talk about that decade of being under a cloud of the Dark Ages. Well, these are the things that we see when the Dark Ages are broken. The Galaxy on top of the Western Conference for the first time since 2011, heading into the All-Star break.
Dude, you know what I just realized? Like, I remember having this conversation with you on this pod about, us trying to, because I believe last year top 4 was 50 points. That was the threshold, and that was like the marker this year. We're already there, bro. Like, we've got 8 games left. That's so nuts, man. And
24 available points.
It's just a testament to this team. Man, long may this continue, and I hope we can get that number 1 seed, bro. But I just looked at that right now. I'm like, holy. That is amazing. What an amazing season so far.
Look, unfortunately, the Galaxy don't have it in their hands exactly because they have 2 teams that are breathing down their neck with games in hands. They're 2 points ahead of LAFC, but LAFC has 2 games in hand. They're 5 points ahead of RSL. RSL has a game in hand. So all the Galaxy can do right now is keep on taking care of business where they can. In their own matches, and hopefully these other 2 teams drop points elsewhere.
But again, I as I mentioned last time, I'd rather have points in the board than matches played. And remember, Rob, we talked about this last pod, which is now those teams have more midweek games, right? So we've got more rest. We're more rested, which this team needs. Those teams have to play more games. And if I'm not mistaken, LAFC had their Houston game canceled. That's one of their extra games. Can't remember the other one. So I was trying to think if it was against a top opponent or not. But irrespective, right? Those teams like Houston, for example, they're going to be fighting for a playoff spot. Last 8 games of the season, those teams are going to be scrawling or scrapping and clawing all day long, right? So again, it's going to be interesting. I'd rather have points on the board, and I'd rather have that assurance that we're top of the West heading into Leagues Cup. Which, by the way, Chris has a good question here. He says, will the LA Galaxy go for Leagues Cup or tank the Leagues Cup and have full focus on the rest of the MLS season? I think that's a great question. I think, honestly, the run that we're on, for me, this is more of a distraction than something that we need. But I will say this, soccer is soccer. Games have got to be played, and consistency and sort of the fluidity of this team, say that about 5 times fast, of this team, especially heading into that 8-game stretch. I don't think that should be overlooked. I think we need to take these games seriously, but if guys are on the red line fitness wise, let's not chance it. I think it's also an opportunity for Vanny not only to try out new players, but try out new tactics, right? New formations, maybe tweak some things as he's thinking about how to play certain teams in the playoffs. So I think those are good sort of testing grounds for that. I don't know. What do you think, Rob?
You said it. I mean, it's a distraction, but it is what it is. It's there now, and it's an opportunity to win a trophy. So it'll be interesting to see how Greg Vanny manages this because, I mean, there's a trophy at stake in the Galaxy. Haven't won F-all in forever. So should they take any competition with the trophy seriously? Sure. But is there a bigger prize on the horizon? Yes. And that's MLS Cup. So I want to see them take it as serious as the conditions allow. So like you said, if there's players that are redlining, don't risk them. Play some youth. Play that Jalen Neo Amido Garces partnership. Let Johnny Pettis get a run out. He scored a lovely goal last time against Chivas in the Leagues Cup in the first edition when it was just an exhibition. So let him get a run out. Let these guys play. So anyway, that's my take on the Leagues Cup. I want to see them win a trophy. It'd be great if they did, but not at the expense of the big prize, which is the 6th MLS Cup, or potentially putting yourself in position for that. But you're right, Ananda. They go into the break in first place. Second place in the Supporter Shield standing, which you brought up, 4 points behind new leaders Inter Miami. Miami has a game in hand as well. So again, the Galaxy don't have the math in hand, but all they can do is keep winning games, which has brought them 1.88 points per game. And to wrap up here, guys, the Galaxy is now off for 10 days until the start of the Leagues Cup. Their first game, like we mentioned, is Wednesday, July 31st at 7:30 in San Jose against the San Jose Earthquakes. Luckily for the Galaxy, the San Jose Earthquakes still are not good. And so this one should be an opportunity for them to get off to winning ways in the Leagues Cup. Ananda, anything else to mention before we get on out of here?
No, I'm just going to leave it on this note by, of course, the one and only XPH. He says the fact that there's so many options for defending the badge speaks on how talented and together the team is playing. And this was my point earlier, right, about the Riqui debate. Is Riqui the best player? Who's the most valuable player? Blah, blah, blah for the Galaxy. I'm just loving that we're having this debate. You know, we can sort of debate internally and disagree or agree to disagree amongst each other, right? But the fact of the matter is we're having the conversation. And this is like XPH said, speaks to how talented and together the team is playing. One last thing on Leagues Cup, Rob, that you triggered a thought in my mind. We got to take these games seriously. I don't want complacency to set in, and that's a mentality thing, right? So we got to keep the mentality up.
Exactly.
And again, don't kill yourselves over it, but take these games seriously. Take these games as more learning moments, more teachable moments, and I think we just got to adopt that mindset. And what is the saying? What will be, que será, será, right? What will be. So that's it.
Yes, que será, será. You have 10 days to mull it over, LA Galaxy fans. 10 days before the start of the Leagues Cup. And then after the Leagues Cup, of course, you have the last 8 games of the season where hopefully your LA Galaxy will win out and get that first place seeding in the West. Ananda, I mean, that brings us to the end. Stick around, guys, for some more announcements on upcoming shows. Of course, we'll go ahead and bring you everything you need to know during this transfer window and during this break. Go ahead and catch us on the socials. If you're here, you know you found us on youtube.com/@La Cuna Galaxiana. And, of course, find us on all the socials at La Cuna Galaxiana. All we got to say really now is thank you so much. We love you. Thank you for hanging out with us. May the power and the love of Rakino fill you every day. Ananda, one thing left to say.
Yes, sir.
G's up.